How to hold a pick. There are many ways of holding the pick. The one that I was taught when I first started playing guitar, and I kept this, I've been doing this ever since, and it's kind of the most common way that you see taught, is that you're going to place the pick kind of on your index finger, about halfway down, a little bit more than halfway down, and then you clamp on top of it with your thumb, so that you see you end up holding the pick like this. And what's good about that is that you'll notice there's a good portion of the pick on your index finger. So when you clamp down, you have a good chunk of the pick in your hand. And also what's sticking out is just a little piece. And the reason that's good is that when you're playing, you really want to be very loose. You should like barely be holding onto the pick. Just you're not gripping on it. You're not getting the Kung Fu death grip on the pick. And since you have such a good portion of it inside your hand and only a little bit is sticking out, you have some pretty good leverage, so that when you're playing, you don't have to hold it that hard. And the pick's not going to go flying out. You can just keep a loose grip on the pick. Whereas if you were to hold a little bit less of it or kind of get a grip like this, you notice that you don't have a lot of leverage and it tends to want to pull the pick out of your hand. So there are many ways of holding the pick. You can go online and look for other resources, watch your favorite guitarists and see how they do it. There's a lot of different picking ways, and you can do it just any way you want. So anytime you're playing guitar, for all of these techniques, you're just going to find something that's comfortable for you, something the way that you enjoy it. This is the recommended starting point, to hold it like this, and you'll probably end up using that for as long as you play. So how to hold the guitar. The way I hold the guitar is I place it on my right knee. And the reason I place it on my right knee is because when I first started, I placed it on my left knee, and I played like that for many years. What inevitably happens is when it's on this side of your body, then you have to reach farther in this direction to play these notes down here, and that ends up putting strain on your arm because you have to reach really far out. And also when you want to look at the fretboard, you'll notice that your head is kind of looking down and to the left in an awkward position, and I started getting some neck pain just from being like that. So I switched to play the guitar on my right hand side. Now all of a sudden I'm able to play much more comfortably. I have all of the frets right here in front of me. I don't have to look down and to the left. I can just kind of look down. And so it's a much more comfortable guitar position. So always when you're playing guitar, the most important thing is you want to have good posture. You want to be in a comfortable position, one that's kind of ergonomic, not going to twist your neck or your arm and wrist in certain funky ways. Those will end up with long-term pains. And also, as you're playing these songs, you just want to be totally relaxed. You want to be relaxed in your picking hand. You want to be relaxed in your fretting hand. So I place the guitar on my right leg, and right here I have everything right in front of me. When it comes to your fretting hand and how you actually hold the guitar, the most convenient way to do that, and what you'll notice is a lot of rock guitarists, they will plant their hand up against the guitar like this, where they kind of have the thumb sticking over. So watch a lot of your favorite guitarists, who that is, and kind of notice if they have this same grip. And you'll see this is very common. This is the way, I've been doing it for many years, is you put the hand back there, and that leaves you in a position where you can play all of the different chords that you want to play, and you can switch around, especially for the power chords that we're going to learn in this lesson. You're kind of going to want to maybe place your thumb on the back, and you can get this grip right here. Picking technique. Now that you know how to hold your pick and you're able to get it in this position, there's two things. One is as you're picking, if you don't have stabilization, your hand's going to be moving all over the place, and it's hard to control because as you pick, the pick kind of goes down on the string, create some tension, and as it releases, your hand tends to want to go in that direction. So if you don't have anything to stabilize it, and you're trying to hit these individual strings, then you're not going to be very accurate. So one way of stabilizing your picking technique is by placing one finger on top of the guitar, or you can do 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Some people firmly plant it down here. That's what I do. You'll notice a lot of your favorite guitarists, you can kind of watch their technique and see what they do, but it's very common for them to have a couple of fingers down here. So what I do is I stabilize it by firmly planting the hand here, and that allows me to, no matter which string I go to, whatever string I want to get to, I can get there with accuracy, and I can just pick on one string, switch strings. So without this finger being planted there, if I was trying to do it like that with the loose grip, it's very difficult. Another technique that you can do to stabilize it is by kind of planting your wrist or a portion of your guitar, of your hand, up against the guitar. And then that gets you a little bit of stability there. So those are stabilizing techniques. Practice with your finger there. At first it may feel a little bit awkward, but it'll feel better over time and you'll have more accuracy. Pick angle. So one thing, a further picking technique, as you're picking, notice that the pick is flat. So when you're coming across the string, it will, as we mentioned, build tension, and when that tension releases, it's a little bit hard to control. So one thing that a lot of guitarists do is they'll kind of pick at it at an angle. It's hard to see here, but the pick, instead of going flat, if you turn it at a little bit of an angle, the shape of the pick kind of helps to cut through that tension. So there's a little bit of a trade-off, is that if you give it too much of an angle, it doesn't get a nice clean grab and pluck of the string. It kind of saws at it. Or if you go flat, you get a nice pluck of the string, but the tension is hard to control sometimes. So usually you want to just find an angle that's comfortable for you, that also sounds good, and practice on your picking using a little bit of an angle, because that'll reduce the tension. It'll help you control it better. So the goals for this exercise, what the computer program is teaching you is how to play power chords. And when you're playing power chords, essentially you're turning the guitar into a rhythm instrument. So you're going to be supplying the rhythm with your guitar. And what you'll be focusing on is building the physical skill. You want to build the strength and coordination in your fretting hand so that you can cleanly form the chord shapes, and you're going to be building the technique and strength in your picking hand so that you can cleanly pluck the strings to produce the power chord sound. You're going to be focusing on moving the power chord shape around to different parts of the guitar. And so those are the physical techniques that it's going to take you a while to build that up. It may take you weeks or months to get strength in your fretting and picking hand so that you can make those changes cleanly and accurately and without wearing yourself out. So while you're developing your physical skill and practicing your power chords very slowly to the rhythms that are taught you in your training program, you're also going to be going through the exercises of memorizing the notes on the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. So you're going to go through all of the computer exercises and you're going to learn E, G, A, B, C, D, E, as well likewise on the 5th string, all of the notes. And it's important to memorize the notes on the strings. So therefore, when you look for a song and it tells you to play G5, C5, and D5, you'll quickly be able to find those chords and you'll be able to play thousands of songs just by memorizing the notes, by playing power chords. And if you know how to find all of the notes up there, you'll be able to play lots of songs and it'll sound great.